Member from Beaches, East York.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Premier. Mr. Premier, half a decade ago, the government established a new system for Ontario's air ambulance system. At the time, this was a standalone private company. Ornge would be freed from government oversight, as was said, and provide better service at less cost. Does the Premier think the public got a good value for its money from Ornge?
Premier.
Speaker, the Minister of Health.
Minister of Health.
Speaker, thank you, and thank you for the question. I think everyone in this House, Speaker, knows that there were some challenges at Ornge, and that is why we have changed the structure and strengthened oversight. One missing piece is, of course, Bill 50, which is before this House, and that I'm hoping will be supported by the members opposite. Ornge, Speaker, transports close to 20,000 patients every year. They do an extraordinary job getting people to the care that they need. Speaker, just yesterday there were 37 patients transferred by Ornge. There were 30 interfacility transfers, 4 by land. 7 pediatric patients were transported. This is about getting people to the care they need as quickly as possible.
Answer.
So, Speaker, while we know there are things that need to change at Ornge, they are changing, and I'm very proud of the progress.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. People who watched as well-connected insiders wasted millions of dollars at Ornge are worried about this government's plans. Under their 300-page omnibus bill, the government will, and I'm quoting here Ontario's Ombudsman, quote, smooth the way for government to further relieve itself of service administration through a variety of means, including designating delegated administrative authorities and entering other delegation arrangements. And then the Ombudsman goes on to note, quote, one has only to think of the raging Ornge scandal to grasp that private players administering public services do not always share or respect public sector values. End of quote. Has the government not learned anything from the mess at Ornge?
Minister of Health.
Minister of Finance.
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, this government is in fact looking at a variety of methods to get better value for our dollar, to ensure that services are better delivered. The member opposite overlooked the fact that air ambulance services used to be privately delivered in Ontario. We've had some challenges that the Minister of Health has moved to correct, but we will continue to find better value for Ontarians, Mr. Speaker, across a range of services. Terranet's a good example of a very successful venture in that way. Mr. Speaker, it is about getting back to balance, and our commitment is to invest in health care and education. Those are this government's priorities as we deal with the question of better taxpayer value for all Ontarians, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Final supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In October, Ontarians elected a minority government to work together to tackle their challenges. More decisions in secret, less accountability, new ELs and Ornges are not what they had in mind. Is the government ready to heed the advice of the independent legislative officers like Ontario's Ombudsman and amend their 300-page omnibus bill to ensure the public is protected from another Ornge debacle?
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, in the case of Service Ontario, I think 2/3 of its services are already privately delivered, Mr. Speaker, and they are well delivered privately. The member opposite neglects to share with the House that, in fact, there's a substantial investment needed in new technology, new computers, new systems of delivering traditional government services that, frankly, given our priorities in health and education, rather than spend that money on computers for Service Ontario, we prefer to invest in health and education as we invite the private sector to deliver, again, the last 1/3 of those services. Mr. Speaker, it is about priorities. This government will continue to have education and health care as its focus. We will continue to look at value for taxpayers, Mr. Speaker.
Answer.
And as we do that, we will look at alternative service delivery models, Mr. Speaker.